Deputy President William Samoei Ruto has responded to the remarks by Raila Odinga during the devolution conference. And interestingly, he responded at the very same forum, at the devolution conference. Now, for those who are expecting some fireworks from this response, they must be very disappointed because there was no fireworks. And I guess there's a huge difference when you're responding to a remark, when you're on your own backyard, out there in rallies, and when you're responding to such a remark at an official government function. Still, this must have surprised a lot of people because many people know that our deputy president sometimes can come up with extremely emotional responses. Other analysts have a completely different view. They say, these damn manenos, this is not the sort of issue to respond carelessly. More so when the Finance Cabinet Secretary, Bwana Henry Rotich, has just emerged from, wait for this one, a 26-hour grilling. Now this has to be a record. This has to be a record in Kenya. I do not recall, either from my own life, from seeing it live or from being around, and neither do I recall from history, which I've read extensively on our country called Kenya, where a government official, very senior government official, was grilled for 26 hours. That is 1 day, 2 hours. Now, of course, there were breaks. He went and he came back the next day and so on and so forth. But still, 26 hours iliisha. I'm telling you this, Kenya, it is boiling. So this is not an issue to respond to carelessly because your response can be evidence. But before I leave CS Henry Rotich, I think it is worth us knowing that according to insider information, the DCI are preparing charges against the cabinet CS. Criminal charges, related to what the DCI say, his inability, to stop theft, massive theft of public funds. Now, if that charge indeed sees the light of day, there are some very, very serious issues. And let me handle that towards the tail end of this video. Back to Deputy President William Ruto. Actually, something major here has changed, and many Kenyans have missed it. Let us agree that before, it was not that obvious, that the Deputy President is on the crosshairs of serious prosecution. We alluded to that on this channel. Indeed, we have been saying something to that effect for a very long time, but it was hard to believe. And the Deputy President could still go to meetings and official gatherings and speak and say, the Jubilee government, we have done this, we have done that. Me and the President, we have done 1, we have done 2, we have done 3. He could do that. However, now, when he speaks the same things, it sounds very hollow. The truth is, it sounds very much like some play acting, a movie, something very far from reality. Even the most unobservant villager in Kenya today has noticed that the President and Raila Odinga are reading from the same script. They are speaking the same language. It is like a president and his deputy, or a president and his co-president speaking. One day the president talks about people waiting to go to funerals, to make some certain hurtful remarks that make no sense. He also says that anybody who has evidence of corruption in the first family should take them straight to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. The next day, Raila says exactly the same words, in his own words. Only that he adds more details, more explosive details. And I carried that on this channel yesterday, where he said that the deputy president is like those thieves in the state who, when you chase them, they start pointing at somebody else and saying, thief, thief. So an innocent person ends up being punished, while the real thief escapes. Raila said, by the deputy president saying 21 billion didn't disappear, it was only 7 billion, he is behaving like that thief who pretends they're not a thief. I have never seen Raila Odinga so direct in recent times. And this appears to be a very well coordinated and choreographed move. Yeah, because the former Prime Minister has been making rounds even in radio stations. The DP Ruto camp, to be fair, has also had its own share of drama. Like the recent comment that most Kenyans just can't get out of their minds. The Deputy President said, and he emphasized, that he's sober. He does not smoke bangi. What did he mean? Who was he referring to? We're going to handle that immediately after the short upcoming commercial break. Don't miss it. Welcome back. Now, this remark by the Deputy President a few days ago, that he does not smell bangi, who was he referring to? Well, my guess is as good as yours. You know, politics sometimes can get very sensitive. Yeah, and it is good sometimes to avoid answering some questions or to avoid some issues. Now, of course, I've built a reputation for being a blogger who does not avoid issues, who takes issues head on. However, surely, there has to be a time when even Kumekucha is scared. Because surely, how can you obtain evidence that a certain VIP smokes bangi? If you are brought before a court of law, how can you prove that so-and-so actually smokes cannabis sativa? Still, it was clear as day, that the Deputy President was targeting his babs at the handshake team. In my view, that was a very emotional response. And I'm going to say it again, I've said it on this channel so many times, that in my view, the Deputy President, would have done himself a lot of good by keeping emotions out of these issues. But I guess sometimes somebody is so emotional, they can't help it. Even as they score points, doing the right thing to fight back, following the right strategy, in their fight for survival, the emotion cannot help but come out once in a while, and it tends to cause a lot of damage. The other attack from the Deputy President camp towards the handshake team has been to do with the controversial proposed merging of the national carrier Kenya Airways and the Kenya Airports Authority. Now, this is a fascinating one, because the first time I heard of this issue, it came out of the mouth, wait for this one, of a man called Michael Joseph. Oh yes, Michael Joseph is the board chairman of Kenya Airways. And I think most of you know that Michael Joseph is a Kenyan these days. He's a Kenyan national. So let me note here in the comments area at the foreigner chairman. Nothing like that. This man is a Kenyan. Anyway, that is where the idea seems to have been mooted. It was not birthed in political circles. Because as you know, anything that is birthed in political circles, big question mark. Because most probably, when that happens, somebody is going to pocket a couple of billions. Not in this case. You see, after his huge success with Safaricom, lifting it to one of the most profitable, if not the most profitable company in the region, Michael Joseph has a reputation to protect, and is at the helm of the Kenya Airways board, trying to turn around the national carrier, which, as we all know, has suffered huge, humongous losses in recent years. That is the background. However, this thing has become so political. I don't think any benefit or any good argument Bwana Joseph may have had will now fly, because this thing has just become political. It is being used by the DP Ruto camp to suggest some kind of corruption, some kind of impropriety amongst the handshake team. Some sources are even saying, the strike we saw amongst workers at the airport, Kenya Airports Authority workers recently, was provoked, instigated and financed by some politicians, which would be hardly surprising. Now, I promised to say something about Bwana Rotich, the CS Finance. Now, if this thing goes to court, it is not hard to imagine what Bwana Rotich's defense will be. You see, even in the finance ministry, in the finance docket, before any major funds can be authorized, either to come in or to go out, they need the signature of a very important Kenyan. And that Kenyan is the President of the Republic of Kenya. I think you know where I'm going. And that is why it is going to be super fascinating for me, if indeed Bwana Rotich is going to be charged, what particular charges are going to be preferred against him. In my view, although there are a lot of question marks about very many aspects to do with Bwana Rotich, there seems to be very little solid evidence that can stand up in a court of law. You know, when you're prosecuting such a man, you already know that he's going to have very serious legal defense against whatever charges you come up with against him. And therefore, to avoid embarrassment, you want to go to court with rock solid, irrefutable evidence that is enough, more than enough actually, to convince a judge to prosecute. Indeed, the fact that the grilling went on for a record 26 hours seems to suggest, that getting this evidence may not be very easy. In police circles the world over, if the police have enough evidence, interrogation normally is very brief. You just ask a few questions, you answer with your lies, the police smile back, they tell you that's it, we have enough. And of course you're left guessing what they may have or what they may not have. However, in a situation whereby they don't have much, if I can just say, where they're on a fishing trip, because they already know, because many times the police know so-and-so committed a murder, they know. There's enough circumstantial evidence from their instincts, from their experience, they know so-and-so committed the murder. But then being able to present that person in court and to get him or her successfully prosecuted is a whole other matter. And that seems to be the issue here. Folks, we live in very interesting times. Extremely interesting. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.